Okay, bad news. I had already recorded quite a bit of the game when my power went out for a minute because it's storming like crazy where I am right now. But I'm gonna see if I can just go back and do it again.
I see you've solved the dog problem.
Yeah, he's a very good, but very dangerous dog.
What is this place exactly?
This is our inheritance. Great, isn't it? Peter and me took care of this place after our father died.
How'd you get mixed up with a guy like Ottokar, if you don't mind my asking?
When we were younger, Peter and me had a small operation going. Petty theft was our main business. This place is perfect to hide stolen goods. Anyways, Peter and me would get arrested from time to time. Suffice it to say, the thieving wasn't going good. We're not exactly good at blending into the crowd.
Did you guys ever wear masks?
Masks?
Yeah, to cover your face, to hide your identity.
No, we never did. Now, why didn't I think of that? Masks, huh?
I'm sorry I interrupted you. So how'd you hook up with Ottokar?
Oh, yeah, well, we decided to work for him because our business wasn't going well and we needed money. Masks. We should have worn masks.
And
So, Ottokar offered to pay us good money to protect certain investments he had in the neighborhood. And that's pretty much it.
did you ever think of doing something else?
Well, yeah, of course. No one wants to do what we do. We do it because we have no other choice. What I really wanted to do is open up a club. Not a joint, but a classy place, like I seen in pictures of New York.
Ah, I know what you mean. Huge classy joints where you have a host at the door that escorts you to a table and lots of different acts on stage from across the country.
Yeah. Also, a small orchestra that plays jazz music.
Well, you never know. It could happen, right?
I would doubt it.
Yeah, who am I kidding? It's a dream itself just getting into one of them. Well, it was nice meeting you, Roman. I hope our paths cross again.
It was nice to meet you too. And, thanks for getting me out of jail.
Think nothing of it. Is that Big Bertha? Maybe I can build some bookshelves with those. Hi, Peter.
Hi! Seems you got away from raw meat.
Do you scare your new friends like that all the time?
I'm sorry for what happened. The chain doesn't usually break. It was funny to see your face, though. I always do the same gag to the new guys.
What do you do for Ottokar besides roughing people up?
I hurt people that Ottokar doesn't like I did to you.
Yes, well, that's what I meant. Besides hurting people, what do you do for him?
No, besides, I just hurt them. You're not very quick. But you make me laugh.
Okay, I guess that's my cue, Peter. I'll leave you to your hurting people. But I think you should cut down on the raw meat gag. I need a new pair of shorts.
Oh, that reminds me. I have to fix the chain.
Hello? Hello?
Yes?
Sorry about this. I knocked and the door opened, so I came in.
That's quite all right. And you are...
I'm Gus McPherson. I'm a private detective hired to help out with the local murders.
Really? A genuine private dick, and I can tell by your accent you're American, too. This adds so much to the authenticity of the stereotype. The name is Mark Ackerman. Pleased to meet you.
Likewise. Are you British?
No, I'm a Yank, just like you are. The accent is due to living in England throughout most of my childhood. You see, Daddy is an ambassador. I sort of picked it up along the way. I hardly notice it anymore.
Mark? Qui est-ce?
Stay in your position, Apollina, please.
Do you have time for a few questions?
For just a few, yes, of course. It's sort of exciting, this private detective stuff.
This was a while back, but do you remember when Inspector Skalnick came here to talk to you? Actually, according to rumor, you had an argument with him. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And do you mind telling me what it was about?
Not at all. He accused me of being, as you put it so eloquently earlier, the local problem.
He accused you of being the killer.
Yes, can you believe the gall? I mean, really, me, a killer? It's totally preposterous.
Did he elaborate on his theory?
Not really. He only confronted me. He didn't present any proof or real evidence to support his allegations. I'm afraid you'll have to ask him about his little hypothesis.
I'm sorry, but I have to ask this. Did you ever employ these women other than for modeling?
I was always professional, Mr. McPherson. I never touched those women.
Again, I apologize, but I have to ask these types of questions.
It's quite all right, I understand.
Mark, j'en ai marre!
Well, I believe that's my cue.
Yes, indeed. I must get back to work before... well, before...
Yes, I know. Thanks for answering my questions. Can I come back later, maybe when you're less busy?
Certainly. As I mentioned before, your best bet is to talk to Inspector Skalnick.
Well, again, my thanks.
You're quite welcome. And good luck.
Hey, friend.
Mr. McPherson, what can I do for you?
I'd like to talk to your boss. Is he in now?
As a matter of fact, he is. Are you gonna pester him with annoying questions?
How'd you know?
A wild guess. Go right in, my friend. It's up the stairs at the end of the hall to your right.
Thanks. Inspector Skalnick?
If it isn't the knight in shining armor.
You son of a...
What do you want, McPherson? I was on my way out.
I'd like to ask you about Mark, the local artist.
What about him?
Well, I thought I remember you saying that you had no suspects related to these crimes. And this charming gentleman says otherwise.
What did he say exactly?
He said that you accused him of the crimes. May I ask why?
Yes, I considered him a suspect. Wouldn't you?
It doesn't matter what I think.
That's all the time I have for you.
Fine. Can you at least lend me the files on the other victims?
No, McPherson.
Why not? I just want to consult them. Hey, I thought we were working to...
No, we are not. I work for the mayor, not the whores.
Well, now, it seems we work for the same kind of people, except my clients have character and honesty.
This concludes our conversation. I have business elsewhere.
I have to manage a way up.
Oh, you know, just stealing evidence. Typical Tuesday.
never figured out what that was.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here because there's something that I want to read. Okay, there's the coroner's report. Okay, Katerina Bulgari. The girl died of a series of savage wounds inflicted with a large sharp blade, followed by evisceration. The post-mortem knife wounds do not suggest that the killer has any medical knowledge or skill at butchery. The lack of blood present at the site indicates that the victim was killed elsewhere and dumped amidst the burned buildings. Similarities in manner of execution suggest that this girl was killed by the same individuals responsible for the murder of Nadia Burkowski. See autopsy report number 1179. Incident report. I was making my rounds when at approximately midnight I come across disturbance in the ruins of St. Drogo Orphanage. I find the body of a young woman killed with a knife. Many stabbings. Victim was cut open like butcher's carcass. I see very little blood. This killing is a terrible thing. Perhaps this girl was orphaned here before building burned. No witnesses to identify the body. I make my rounds before at 9 p.m. I am certain girl was not there. Witnesses, none. Near the bridge, Nadia Burkowski. Death due to repeated stabbing followed by evisceration with a large bladed, extremely sharp blade, possibly a butcher's or hunting knife. The evisceration occurred post-mortem. Deep cuts to the victim's hand and forearms are typical of defensive wounding. Lack of blood found at the scene indicates that the victim was murdered elsewhere, then transported to the site where she was discovered. The victim is a known prostitute. This is judged to be an unlawful death. I was contacted by Constable Sastak, who requested that I examine the murder scene. The victim was found on a bench at the base of the Charles Bridge, gutted. The victim, a known prostitute, appeared to have been dead for some hours. A relative lack of blood present at the scene shows that the victim was transported there following the killing. I found no useful boot prints in the vicinity. The victim had been robbed, though whether by the killer or a later thief has not been determined. Death was due to her throat being cut. The victim had her trachea and I have no idea how to even pronounce that artery severed by a single deep slash with a very sharp knife. The lack of defensive wounds suggests that she was taken from behind, her throat cut before she had a chance to react. The victim was then stabbed repeatedly and then eviscerated. The condition of the body and quantity of blood found at the scene confirmed that she was killed where she was found. Recent fillings in the teeth, typical of Italian dentistry, suggest that the girl had been traveling, possibly in the company of a patron enlisting her services. Identity unknown. The victim is a known prostitute. This is judged to be an unlawful death. I was walking home, having spent the night in the office, and crossed through Vitt Cove Park. In the early hours of the morning, I discovered the body of a young woman, nearly decapitated and gutted, lying at the foot of the statue, clearly beyond my help. I searched the area for clues before summoning constables to canvass the area in search of witnesses and to take away the body. Okay, I think we're done there? Yep, all done.
Thanks. I got what I needed to continue.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, not right now anyway.
Yes, I'm fine. Didn't we talk about you staying at home safely, behind a bolted door?
Yes, we did, but we also talked about me going to see the doctor.
Ah, yes, I remember that. So what did the doc say? Did he find the problem?
Well, yes, he did.
So what's wrong?
Can I ask you a very serious question?
Okay, now I'm worried. What is it?
How serious are we?
How serious? Well, why do you ask?
Just answer the question.
I'm sorry, Ida, but where is this going?
Do you love me?
Yes, of course I love you. Actually, love is too small a word. I lure you, I lurve you, I lobe you.
I'm pregnant.
Really?
Yes, really. That's why I've been sick for the last couple of weeks.
I see.
What do you want to do?
Well, there's only one thing we can do.
Which is?
Let's get married.
Really?
Let's do it in New York. I have some friends and family that can help us get started.
Oh, Gus, you're wonderful.
Looks like the benches have been changed. Now where are the old ones?
Hey, Peter.
Hello, Gustav! I like your name. It reminds me of my father.
Oh, your father's name was Gustav.
No, Michael.
I can see why you would think that. Anyways, I need to ask you a question. Did you guys ever receive some old public benches?
Yeah, we did! They're right over here! There you are!
Thank you, my very large friend.
You make me laugh!
And it's a good thing I do. I'd hate to be on your bad side. Actually, I know what that's like.
Why did you want to see the benches?
I was just looking for something.
Oh, okay, Michael. See you later.
My name is... never mind.
That bath was empty at the time. This message was carved recently. Someone is leaving breadcrumbs.
Hello again.
Hello, Mr. McPherson.
Can you help me out with something?
Of course.
I want you to take a look at this picture. Do you remember what happened that day?
Yes, I remember. How can I forget it? I'm the one who found Katerina. Inspector Skalnik asked me a few questions.
At that particular time, was there something out of the ordinary? Something you might have seen that struck you as odd? Or maybe something you know about the area that no one else does?
The only thing I saw that seemed out of place is that Inspector Skalnik threw something into the sewers.
Did you see what it was?
No. He turned his back and he let something drop. I saw it fall between his legs. It was something shiny because it caught my eye.
Well, thanks a lot for your help.
You're welcome.
Strange. Someone locked this recently. That lock is brand new.
Gustav!
Yes?
I'm really worried for Apollina.
Don't worry. She's with Mark, the painter.
I know, but she should have been back by now. It never takes that long to model.
You've modeled for him before?
Yes, I did, and I didn't like it very much.
Why?
Well, I don't like him too much.
Was he mean to you?
No, actually, quite the contrary. He was always nice. Too nice. It just gives me the creeps. Anyway, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you just go and look at Mark's studio?
Okay, I'll have a look. And if Apollina's there, I say...
That Milena wants to talk to you.
I'll do as you wish.
Thank you.
Strange. No one's there. I think I'll let myself in.
Finally. That's all I can say. Finally.
I don't recognize the one on the left, but I certainly recognize the one on the right. Ida never told me she posed for him. The one on the left reminds me of Frantiska. On the right side, I haven't a clue. Vladan on the left, and he finished Apollina. The paint is still drying.
Excerpt from the Journal of Winthrop Headley Hour. But so troubled was my brain then by fantastical imaginings that I think in retrospect it can only have been several minutes, even with my mind in this clouded state. I was able to reason that there may have been some sort of narcotic in the absinthe, added to create just this effect. Then we came to a grassy area where all land led me along a large winding path, which seemed mostly circular, but also had several sharp turns in it as well. At first I tried to count the number of turns, but I quickly lost track of them because of the whispering all around me, of which I could discern little save that it was some form of rhythmic chanting, and I could make out no specific words. In this fashion, they had succeeded in disorienting me completely. My mind was continuously leaping from one idea to the next, and the sounds my ears received only contributed to the chaos. And also, by the time I was finished walking the path upon which I was being led, I had lost all sense of how far I had traveled, overall in any direction, and so I was confused both in body and in mind. Suddenly, incongruously, I heard a piano being played somewhere very near. The hand let go of my arm and I stepped toward the music, navigating some steps in a flat surface, both of cool stone, to arrive inside the room, with the tinkling notes of the piano echoing off the walls. Muffled voice directed me to walk to what, when my blindfold was subsequently removed, proved to be the center of an ornate ballroom which I had entered from the patio doors. As my arms were unbound and I rubbed the wrist, I examined my surroundings for any hint of what might come. The decor was in the same style as any other high society ballroom, including a portrait of Her Majesty looking disapprovingly down upon us, with the only differences being an unusual number of sconces set into the walls, and of course the visceral Skarkovic hanging behind the piano. But of course, to most people these differences would go mostly unnoticed. I have to this point postponed any description of the occupants of the room, for they were all men, uniformly dressed in unadorned black, with cream-colored masks upon their faces which resembled the leather worn by performers in the Commedia dell'arte. The masks were expressionless, with only holes for eyes and slits for the nostrils, lending them an aspect so profoundly neutral as to put me in mind of death, or perhaps of what lies beyond it. They were holding hands in a circle, with myself in the middle, and so great was their impact upon me, that it was not until I touched her with my foot that I noticed the naked Negro woman lying at my feet. At first I thought her dead, but there were no marks upon her, and then I saw her neck throb slightly. I assumed her to be in some sort of narcotic-induced dose. One of the men surrounding me spoke, but I could not tell which, for it seemed that the voice came from different directions. And of course, I could not see anyone's mouth move, so just as I thought I had pinpointed the direction of the voice, that location seemed to change, to my perception at least. The owner of the voice told me that on that night, when the veil is thinnest, I had been selected to become one with the others in the circle, to receive him as the others had, although what he meant by this last I had no time to define. For something touched me on my shoulder, and I felt my skin grow quickly warm, then hot, and my head filled with noise and the light. And I remember nothing more of that night whatsoever. I woke back in my home, in my bed, still wearing no clothing, but also with no mud or earth upon my body to indicate the events of the evening, or so I thought, until I noticed that beneath two of my fingernails were light brown stains that were not from any soil, and on the underside of my left wrist was a faint reddish mark resembling the... Okay, it ends there. That's weird.
Blood. Recent, too. Mr. Ackerman, your indiscretions are becoming too expensive to cover up. Your father is resigning as ambassador. You will be returning to America with him shortly. Get your affairs in order. Bell, U.S. Embassy.
So, any news?
I went inside and there was no one there.
Did you find anything?
No, but I definitely want a word with Skalnik. Miss Milena, have a pleasant evening. I'd stay off the streets if I were you.
Tell me what you found.
I found nothing. Stop worrying. I have to talk to Skalnik.
Tell me what you found.
I found nothing. Stop worrying.
Well, Inspector, are you satisfied with your last payment?
Yes, it's very adequate.
The ambassador wishes you good luck in finding the murderer. I think that concludes our agreement. Farewell, Inspector.
My thanks to the ambassador. And as far as our murderer is concerned, well, let's just say I have the perfect man to take the fall.
Why, that son of a bitch.
God! Wow, I never imagined this. I mean, this isn't the image I had of your room.
Miller, what the hell are you doing here?
I imagined something more along the lines of Hellraiser.
Christ, Miller.
Sorry, I'm in shock here. I came because the prints on the bottle and the partials match at a 99% probability. Kolar seems to be our best bet.
Really?
Yes, and I thought you'd want to pick him up.
Okay, I'll meet you over there. Wait for me before taking action.
Of course I will.
Hey, Miller.
Hey.
Hey, Vaclav, we need to talk to you. The cute agent is back.
What's the cute agent thing?
Shh. Hey, listen. Did you hear that?
What? It's probably a movie.
No, I don't think so.
Actually, I think it's from the movie Clockwork Nightmare.
No way. This is for real.
Ah, come on.
It's called Suspicion of an Officer.
Aw, man, Victoria.
Call Tate.
Oh, crap. I will. Later.
Oh my God, Miller, you were like, absolutely right. It's like a movie.
You're not funny. We could get into serious trouble.
Christ, Miller, lighten up. Let's check out his room.
See? I was right. It is Clockwork Nightmare. This guy is twisted.
Oh, stop it.
Did you see the pictures on the wall?
Yeah, so?
Gore films, crime scene photos, porno. Need I say more?
You just described 3/4 of adolescent America. He's harmless. We're here to ask about the prince. We aren't here for character assassination. We'll leave that part to the lawyers.
Hey, we need an officer to guard a door.
I bet if I sprayed luminol all over the bed, I'd need sunglasses just to look at it. Various pictures of serial killer victims. Various pictures of serial killer victims. Various articles on serial killers.
What's going on?
Police business, miss.
Ouch. Hello.
You must be Mia, right?
Yes, and you seem to have me at a disadvantage.
I'm Agent McPherson, and this is Detective Miller. You wouldn't happen to know where Vaclav might be.
Actually, yes, I do. I saw him at work. He was getting a massage or taking a hot bath, whichever.
Where do you work?
Where do you work?
Here's my card. The address is on the back.
Can you check it out? I'll meet you over there.
Sure. Better than being ignored.
Do you mind if I ask what you do there?
Not at all. Actually, I could show you if you'd like, 'cause I can see all that tension in your shoulders and neck. My apartment is just a few steps away.
Thanks for the offer, but I have to decline. I really need to talk to your friend Vaclav.
Friend? Vaclav is a nice guy, but he's no friend. He's a neighbor at best. Sorry to interrupt the flow of your questioning, but can I be totally blunt here?
I'm not sure I want you to, but go right ahead.
Are you spoken for?
Not quite what I expected, but then again, it could have been worse. To answer the question, yes, I'm spoken for.
Oh, how unfortunate.
I don't have much time to chit-chat now, but I will contact you later. I'd like to ask you a few more questions.
Anytime. My offer still stands if you ever change your mind.
I'll be in touch.
You call, Miss McPherson?
Yes, I need you to guard the door in case Vaclav Kolar shows up here.
Description?
About 5'8", black hair, glasses, and he has a scar on his face.
Okay, I'll call in if he shows up.
All right. Thanks, Tate. Sorry about giving you such a wonderful job, but we really don't have a choice.
It's not a problem, Miss McPherson.
I think I might have screwed up.
You didn't try your tough guy routine, did you?
I might have, yes.
What happened?
I only said that I needed to talk to one of the clients. He wouldn't let me in, so I asked him again, this time with some subtle encouragement.
You mean you flashed your badge in his face, right?
That pretty much sums it up, yeah.
Then what?
He asked for a warrant, so I'm screwed. No way we can find a judge at this time of the night and so close to the holidays.
Correction, we are screwed. But wait, I might have an idea. Stay here in case I miss Vaclav. You know what he looks like?
Yeah. Wait, what are you up to?
Just watch the door, I'll be right back.
Sorry, baby, but I need to see your pass.
I don't have my pass. I was wondering if you could let me in anyways.
Then y'all ain't going in. Y'all must be the new girl. It always be the same old motherfucking routine. Listen, yo don't forget your pass. Yo forget it, yo don't work.
You really can't bend the rules just for tonight?
Yo, listen up, mama. A rule is a rule. It'd be my ass if I let y'all in. I thought they'd brief you.
They did, it's just I live really far and it costs me a fortune in cab fare.
So take a cab. They pay for it. I'm sure it's not a problem.
How would it look to you if you start someplace and you're already asking for money? It doesn't make me look good.
Yeah, I see your point, but I still can't let y'all in.
How many girls besides me?
4. Are you sure they brief you?
Yes, they did. Do you like working here? I mean, how is it?
Yeah, I like working here. It's not bad at all. Better than where I used to work. I know about my end of things, but on your end, I have to say, y'all should all be asking one of the other girls.
Well, I gotta head back and get that pass.
Sorry about that, but I really got no choice.
I understand.
Your idea didn't work, I gather.
Yes and no. I have to see Mia and try to convince her to give me her pass. Can you stay here and watch the place in case Kohler decides to split?
Sure. Can you get me some milk bones while you're at it?
Hey, Officer Tate, how you holding up?
Oh, I can't complain. At least it's warm in here.
So nothing, huh?
Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. So, Agent McPherson, why'd y'all come back? Forget something?
Sort of, yes. I have some more questions for Mia.
Oh, I have to say thanks for the recommendation y'all gave to the vice captain. He was really impressed.
My pleasure. And how did it go?
Nothing official, but I'm probably in.
Congratulations! That's great news.
I just thought you should know, and thanks again for everything.
Well, God knows you've earned it.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Mia?
You had a change of heart?
Sort of. I need a favor.
Even better. Come on in. Hello? Yes, okay. I'll be right down. I have to go downstairs for a second. Make yourself at home.
But Mia, all I need is...
I won't be long, promise.
I shouldn't leave now. Nice bike. Hey, this looks like the girl whose photo we found in the body. Mia, who is this?
Oh, that's Steph. Oh, shit. I was supposed to meet her to do another portrait of her.
Where were you going to meet her?
Why? What's wrong?
Just tell me where.
At my studio, 4455 Beauregard.
Okay, I know the place.
Please, Vic, what's going on?
No time to explain. Just stay here. Don't move. Hey, Richard.
Hi, honey. Ah, have you finally come to see the exhibition?
No, not really. I need you to open the gate outside. I have to get into one of the studios.
Sure, but why?
I finally have a lead in my case.
And it's in one of my studios? What's going on?
Yes. Well, it's a person who might know the killer, and she's inside. I really need to talk to her.
Okay, let's go. I would have appreciated you taking an interest in my work. Oh my God. Vic.
Shit.
Oh my God. No.
Mia! Wait! Shit. I have to stay here to secure the scene. Call the police and go find Mia.
Okay.
The rose is under the lift. I can't reach it. I'm really sorry, Stephanie. I should have taken that shot. Damn it! The rose is under the lift. I can't reach it. It's a hook, probably to lower down crates and whatnot.
Browning. Who? Why wasn't I informed? Don't bother, I'll tell her. Okay. Agent McPherson. Miller has a Vaclav Kolar in for questioning. Why wasn't I informed of this suspect?
Because I really don't think he's relevant to the investigation.
Well, your partner seems to think otherwise. Anyway, he's waiting for you at the office.
Hey, sweetie. Busy now, but come back later. I'll have more for you.
Richard,
Yeah?
is she okay?
Not really.
Okay, listen, try and comfort her as much as you can. I have to go to the office, but keep Mia here and don't let her out of your sight. Can you do that for me, please? She's important for my case.
Sure, honey. It's not a problem.
Thanks. See you later. I don't seem to have any use for an X-Acto right now. Dad?
Yes?
Playing Mr. Fix-It?
The damn thing is broken again.
Dad, call someone. The reason why it breaks all the time is because you fix it. Just call a professional.
I know what's wrong this time. You wouldn't understand, Pumpkin. It's a guy thing.
So how are the cookies?
Just like Mom used to make.
I'm happy you like them. I'll have a bite later.
You'll have to make more.
You ate them all already?
Yes.
Jeez, Dad, you could have let me have at least one.
Well, you know, when I get started, it's hard to stop.
Great. My dad's a cookie junkie. Why did you let Miller upstairs?
I called you 3 times. I got tired, so I let him up.
Yeah, but Dad, he saw my room, Dad.
What's wrong with that?
You do know I work with cops. I'll never hear the end of it.
Officer Miller seems like a nice guy.
He is, Dad, but he has a cop sense of humor.
Are you off again?
Yes, I have to go meet up with him. I'll drop by again later to make more cookies. No thanks to you.
Okay, sweetheart. See you soon.
Bye, Dad.
Hey, Victoria, over here. He's in there now. What happened? A new murder?
Hi, Vaclav. I believe you've met Detective Miller?
Yes. Am I in trouble or something?
Well, sort of, yeah.
I've done nothing wrong.
Can you tell me where you were 3 nights ago?
Yes, I was probably working on my thesis.
Probably?
I assume because that's all I do. Or tutor students to make ends meet.
That's how you met Natalie?
Yes, I was her tutor at the university, and that's all.
Let me show you a picture of Natalie.
Did you do that to her, Vaclav?
No, I didn't do anything to her.
It's different when you know the person, isn't it? Maybe you should reconsider how you decorate your room. Tell me how you met Natalie.
Did you drown her before eviscerating her?
I didn't do that to her!
So how did you meet her?
I saw her ad on the school bulletin board.
What about Cynthia? How did you meet her?
You killed Cynthia the same way you killed Natalie, huh?
I told you, I met her at Mia's party.
Then how come we have partial prints at Natalie's crime scene and Cynthia's crime scene that match your prints at a 99% probability?
Did Cynthia resist? Is that why you beat her up so bad?
I didn't do anything to her!
I get why Natalie would have parcels of you, but Cynthia? Something doesn't fit. You hired her, right?
What?
Relax, Vaclav. I just want to know what happened between you two.
Yes, I did. I mean, yes, I hired her.
Cynthia worked at the same place where you were picked up tonight, right?
Yes. Mia and Cynthia worked there, but they didn't work the baths or do massages.
What did they do?
They worked in a special club. Only certain members have access to another room.
What is this place? A brothel?
I don't know. I never went, but I know that I saw some important people.
That's enough. You're free to go, Mr. Kolar.
What the fuck was that?
What was that, Detective Miller?
Why are we letting him go? On what grounds?
He's definitely not a suspect. The prints are a match, but they're circumstantial evidence.
I'm out of here.
Wait, Agent McPherson.
No, you wait a goddamn minute, Browning. Prints are not circumstantial evidence, you idiot!
It's a paper cutter. It's a paper cutter. Not a good idea. He won't let me in unless I show him a pass. A plastifier. This little machine can be very practical. Not a good idea. He won't let me in unless I show him a pass. That looks comfy. The title is Dark Wedding. The painting is called Reminder. It says, I am the Baroness of Blood. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am Lady Temptation. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Queen of Secrets. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Mistress of Pain. Give me what I desire most. Mia, do you know how the statues work?
You need to use a specific object for each statue. Mine is the apple. One half is in the room with the statues, and the other is at my apartment.
Can I have the key to your apartment, please?
Sure.
What's up?
The killer left a photo of Mia on Stephanie's body. A photo of Stephanie was found on Cynthia. You see what I'm getting at?
Yes. I won't let her out of my sight.
Thanks.
So, is Kola all man?
Unfortunately, no, he isn't.
Damn!
Hi, Claire.
Hey, sweetie.
So what can you tell me about this one?
She died by strangulation. Look at the lesions on her neck. Like victims 4 and 5, she was eviscerated. Again, the mutilations were probably done post-mortem. But he did something completely different this time.
What's that?
He put some of her intestines in the paint buckets. I noticed she was missing some, so I looked in one of the cans. In all my years of service, I've never seen anything so grotesque.
Ew, that's really gross.
What's up, sweetie? You look whiter than aspirin.
Well, I'm a little freaked out.
Okay, Claire is worried now. Talk to me, sweetie.
I've been reading my grandfather's journal. Well, it's not really a journal, more of a case memoir. Anyways, it's about a case he was working in Prague. He was hired by some local prostitutes to help stop and arrest a serial killer. My grandfather accepted freely, too. Well, to cut a long story short, the murders in Prague resemble the ones we have now. I have this eerie feeling that the killer knows my background and he's mind-fucking me.
Do you think that there are two of them working together?
No, I don't think so. It's not common to have two serial killers working together. I can only remember two cases, the Hillside Stranglers and Lucas and Toole. No, this is the work of one man. He's changed his pattern to match someone else's. The first three were beaten and drowned in water. By the fourth victim, the killer started to mutilate the body by evisceration, but the cause of death was still drowning. The fifth victim was pretty much the same. Is there anything else you can tell me?
Not really, sweetie. This one's hard due to all the damn paint. I'll give you a full brief later.
Okay.
Did you remove anything from the crime scene?
No. Why?
Oh, come on now, Victoria. I know how you like to cut corners, especially when you get to a crime scene before I do. What, you think I forgot what you pulled on the Mississippi case?
No, I would never assume you would forget anything, actually. Yes, there was a photo in the victim's left hand. Also, I grabbed her work pass. Oh, yeah, I found a silver rose under the elevator over there.
So that's why I haven't found anything. Victoria, please don't do that again. Or do it, but tell me what you took before you rush off to God knows where, okay?
Promise.
You think that our killer found out about your grandfather's case in Prague and is now copying that killer's M.O.?
That pretty much sums it up, yes.
That is freaky. If the killer does know about your grandfather's case, why not be more blunt about it?
What do you mean?
Well, why doesn't he rub your face in it? Be more obvious about it.
He is, but I'm not picking up the signs. Like the message, disturbed sanctuary. And now this one, a sinner's pardon? He is definitely rubbing it in my face. I'm just at a loss for their meaning.
Did you finish reading those memoirs yet?
No, but trust me, I will. I have an errand to run first.
It's a good theory, but I think you should finish reading it.
Okay, thanks for the info, Claire.
It's not much, but it's a start.
Door's locked. We have major tongue action. I wonder where that was taken. Foucault's Pendulum. Now that's a great book. She must be the tidiest woman I've ever met. There's a total lack of shoes here. Interesting. She has a $5,000 television, but she has a dial phone. Her mouth is open now. It doesn't look like it works. It says, I am the Baroness of Blood. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Mistress of Pain. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Queen of Secrets. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Queen of Secrets. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Queen of Secrets. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Queen of Secrets. Give me what I desire most. It doesn't look like it works. It says, I am the Mistress of Pain. Give me what I desire most. It doesn't look like it works. It says, I am Lady Temptation. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the mistress of pain. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the mistress of pain. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the mistress of pain. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Baroness of Blood. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am the Queen of Secrets. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am Lady Temptation. Give me what I desire most. It says, I am Lady Temptation. Give me what I desire most. I must find a way to get to that book. And this is the living room. Note the extremely sadistic-looking scorpion-like chair. Now that's a nice bed. A keyhole. I need a key. Mark Ackerman?
Mark Ackerman! It's Ackerman! So I was to take the fall for this, huh? You little son of a bitch. So you covered his tracks for money, huh? You know how many died for your greed, you bastard? Huh? Do you? I'll make sure you go down. Oh yeah. You have the right to a phone call. You little smart-ass punk.